Yo, y'all won't believe it. It is like almost 5 o'clock in the morning. But hey, I told you guys I was going to come up here and do this video, and a promise is a promise. I actually worked tonight, and then I just got back from doing a reading right after. Um, and then I got my notes together and made sure that I was prepared for you guys. So those that are just waking up right now and are able to kind of tune in while you're getting ready for work, that's kind of cool. I'm here trying to be here for you guys, and then I'm gonna go to sleep and start my day in a few hours. But I wanted to come up here because I was at work all day, and it was an amazing, awesome day, and then being able to read somebody right after was pretty cool in the late night hours. But I definitely, when you have a specific thing that you promise somebody, it is so important to keep your word. And for that reason, I'm here to present you with information on yesterday's moon, full moon in Taurus. Now, the full moon actually was at 12:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, right? Because we didn't actually put our clocks back, or forward, I should say, not back. We didn't put our clocks forward yet, so we're still in the daylight savings time, and it happened earlier today in the middle of the afternoon. So first and foremost, before I even go over the Taurus moon, I want you guys to understand that the moon happens at different times, whereas the sun might be up on this side of the earth. On the other side of the earth, the moon is up, okay? So that's the reason why this happens. And a lot of people were commenting tonight on the moon and saying that it was so large, and that's awesome. So it's going to be probably in the whole form of looking like a full moon for 3 days in a row. It started about, I want to say, a day ago or maybe 2 days ago. It was really, really beautiful yesterday, but anybody that got to see it tonight, they said it was large, so that's awesome. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about Taurus and the full moon itself, right? So let's talk about the full moon actually. Full moon is when it comes to closures, right? We have 4 weeks between every full moon and every new moon. And when you set intentions on the new moon, after about 2 weeks, that's when a full moon happens. And that usually is when you start seeing progress from the intentions that you set with the new moon, okay? Now, the last full moon, we set our intentions previously, right? And then we've come to the full moon in Taurus. Now, I made this long video the last time when I was talking to you guys about the new moon. And when I made the video, I really started around Pisces. And I did that because I wanted you guys to understand the power of the retrogrades that were happening during that time and how it caught us to this point. And I picked the theme of even starting, or I should say I picked that particular sign to start at because of the fact that this is the year of manifestation, right? Major, okay? 2018, when you add it up, it equals 11. So it's big to understand it's the year of manifestation, and understanding that the moons and the sign work in correlation with that theme, okay? So I started off kind of really explaining things as far as Pisces is concerned in the last video, so you guys can really understand the power of dreaming, because Pisces is the dreamy sign. It's the sign that really goes out there and looks at all the things that it truly wants and has a large mindset on how to get it. And now we've come into this, after all the retrogrades in the summer, we've come to the full moon in Taurus. So, full moon versus new moon. Let's remind you guys about that, okay? New moon, you set the intentions, it's new beginnings. Full moon means there's closures, okay? When there's a new moon, that means that the luminaries are actually at the same degree, and that means they're working together to create a new beginning. When they're at a full moon, it means that the luminaries are opposite of each other, so they're opposing energies, causing us to become aware of the two forces, so that way we can understand the balance of those two energies, okay? Now, with the full moon being in Taurus, that means opposite of that would mean that the sun is in Scorpio. So for all my Scorpios, congratulations, because we've officially entered the season. So congrats. I'm super excited about the season. I have a lot of 8th house placements, and 8th house is Scorpio. So I feel alive in this time period. But I'm going to, because I have so many notes, and of course I always find myself talking so much that I can run an hour, and that's fine. You guys can fast forward and rewind whenever you need to. But I have a lot of notes today, okay? So much that I had to color coordinate to make sure that I stay on track. Alright, so let's talk about this. So yeah, so 12:45 p.m. EDT yesterday, okay, October 24, 2018. Now, let's talk about the opposing energies between Taurus and Scorpio. So I have that I've written down personally. Taurus really talks about stability, okay, your value, okay, because Taurus rules second house. So value, possessions, family assets, okay, collections. When I say collections, I mean collector's items, things that you call your own possessions, okay? So this could be if you are someone who collects, toy cars, or someone who collects live cars, someone who is into collecting crystals, someone who collects jewelry, or so forth and so forward, okay? So that would be under collections. It has to do with food intake, okay? So my Taurus is out there, y'all can admit y'all love some good food, some good movies, some good sex, anything that really has to do with the pleasurable things in life, that is that Taurus energy. Now on the opposite of that, we have Scorpio. So Scorpio talks about the intensity within us, okay? It talks about, when you say, okay, so second house is your value, whereas eighth house, which is opposite of second house, is other people's value, okay? Stay with me on that, because I know a lot of Scorpios are like, wait, hold up, I care about myself too. And I'm not saying that you guys don't, but what I am saying is that there's a difference, because with Taurus focuses largely on simplicity, where Scorpios focus on more so complexity and merging two energies rather than being a solo energy, okay? Another thing that I have as well, yes, so Taurus is above sea level. It appreciates earthy things, right? And Scorpio appreciates things up beneath the surface, so it's below sea level. So it has to do with depth, where Taurus really has to do with embracing nature and what's right here surrounding us, and utilizing the wonderful herbs and plants and everything that we have around us, and smells and tastes, and anything that has to do with stimulating our senses. That's really tapping into that Taurus energy, okay? Groundedness is a big thing when it comes to Taurus, because it is an earth element zodiac sign, whereas it's different when it comes to Scorpio, because it talks about emotion, right? So with the groundedness with earth element, that would be Taurus, that would be Virgo, and that would be Capricorn. With emotional element, which is the water element, that would be Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, okay? So those are the different, so you can see the different sides of them. Now overall, realistically speaking, these two signs have everything to do with possessiveness. And I say this because, and Taurus and Scorpios, I totally need you guys to be so honest on this post. When you watch this, be real. Everything with you guys is possession. And the reason why is because both houses that both Taurus and Scorpio are responsible for have to do with value, whether it's between solo value, as in your family assets, the things that you come with, how you support yourself, etc., or whether it has to do with other people's value, other people's secrets, other people's psychology, okay? So basically having those two there has to do with possessions. And realistically speaking, you have to look at it in more so emotional possessions versus material possessions, right? Material possessions being Taurus, emotional possessions being Scorpio, okay? So both of y'all are extremely possessive, extremely stubborn, two fixed signs, don't really like change. But ultimately at the end of the day, the thing is that Taurus is big on form, where, excuse me, my dog likes to make himself present in my videos even at 5 o'clock in the morning. Taurus is big on form, where Scorpio is more so big on destruction and really breaking things down, so that way it can then merge with both energies and become a larger entity, okay? So that's really talking about the two of them. And I definitely put a note in there as far as this is major. Anytime that you, like in astrology, we like to consider certain signs with the planets as exalted and deficient, okay? Speaking of, the moon being in Taurus is actually bringing up a lot of positive energy around us. Now, there are other aspects, so I'm not going to say there's not, and we will talk about those. But I mean, as far as as what you need to know, the moon being in Taurus, or anyone who has their moon in Taurus, actually creates a more serene and balanced energy. So I have actually met someone, actually multiple people, who have been a Scorpio sun and have had their moon in Taurus, okay? And they've been a lot, not necessarily less intense than them, like normal Scorpios, but they have been calmer and have been able to deal with their emotions on a more balanced level than what, you know, somebody with a Scorpio moon would be in. So that's speaking of, being that the moon being in Taurus is in its exalted mode, that means that it's deficient when it comes to being in Scorpio. So what that really is also speaking of is that my dog is so extra. I'm sorry, y'all. Skylar. Thank you. Okay. Being that it's exalted in Taurus, it really brings up the beautiful things, right? Especially since Venus has to do with beauty and creation and relationships, right? So the moon in Taurus really brings up the beautiful side of things, whereas moon in Scorpio can bring up some destruction. So for those of you that have moon in Scorpio, I definitely want your opinion on this. Please let everybody know how it's a struggle sometimes for you guys. You guys are very deep in your emotions, and there's a lot of depth, and you naturally can self-sabotage on a regular basis because there's just this element of when you think of the moon is constantly bouncing around, you know, that Cancer energy. So it's always bouncing from different sign to sign. It's only in one sign for about 3 days and then goes into another sign, right? So it takes about 30 days for it to go through all the signs. The moon's constantly changing, causing a lot of moodiness. That's why my Cancers, I love y'all, but y'all could be very, very moody. However, imagine that moodiness and it's now in Scorpio, which is that depth. So it's like deep moodiness constantly over and over and over. And that would be the difference between having the moon in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio. So, but in a positive sense, we have the moon in Taurus, right? That's what we think. Everything's all dandy. If it wasn't opposite from Venus, okay? Venus is in Scorpio right now, and Venus is also in retrograde. So let's talk about that first aspect, okay? All right. So, sorry y'all, my dog is doing the most right now. Okay, actually I'm going to start with a different aspect first, and then we'll go into the Venus and Scorpio, okay? Let's talk about the facts. I'm going to pull this up for you guys so you guys can see what I see, okay? So right here, we're going to talk about how the moon is now sitting with Uranus, okay? You guys can see right there. All right, it's very, very, very close in conjunction. Conjunction means that they're actually in the same house and in the same sign. So they're working together as far as the energies are concerned, but they're really, really affecting each other, okay? So the way that this works is with the moon sitting with Uranus, and it's only 1 degree away, and it's also opposite from the sun. Okay, there's a breakthrough with one's ego, breaking through one's ego because of a disturbance of form within emotion and challenges the ego. Okay, so basically what this is saying is that with the moon challenging, it's already opposing the sun, all right? With it already opposing the sun, and then now it's sitting with Uranus, it's going to cause some breakthroughs. What that means is, excuse me, y'all, I'm going to grab my puppy because he is doing the most to get some attention. Come here. This is so, like, not what I do. And then I'm also going to take off this lovely chain because he knows what he's doing. So the way that this works is with the moon sitting with Uranus, okay, this is going to cause some breakthroughs through emotion. So basically what that means is that Uranus is an energy that wants new ideas. It wants things to be different than its regular form, okay? And when I say form, it's because I constantly talk about the difference between Saturn and Uranus and how Uranus respectively says, Saturn, thank you for your form, and I always show water, okay? Thank you for your form, I understand. But in order to advance, we have to get to something greater by breaking that down and building something extreme on top of it, okay? We want advancements. That's the main concern here. Now, with that being said, that basically says that that deep emotion that that's coming out of that rebirth, that's coming from that struggle between the Taurus and the Scorpio, what that's saying is now that breakthrough is going to cause you to challenge your ego because it's opposing the sun. All right, the sun is all about ego. It's all about the masculine side of ourselves, and it's really about our solo selves, where the moon is really about our collective, our feminine side. So once it taps into that feminine side and taps into the emotional side of ourselves, it's really saying, okay, this is how I feel, and this is exactly what needs to be done for there to be a breakthrough in a positive means, for there to be new ideas and a new version of myself. And that's kind of how that energy works. It does oppose the sun, keep that in mind. So there are going to be some struggles back and forth with you feeling some kind of way, but then actually kind of battling the action that you take. That's pretty much what's going to happen with that, because, you know, in order to, with you feeling this way, the action is the ego, okay? That's that ego. And then naturally it also has to do with Mars and everything else, but when you're fighting your ego because of your emotions, there really is that opposing, and you're trying to find that even balance. And Uranus is really, its focus is to make sure that you're respectively taking something that you have grown or that you already have, but then you're elevating, right? So it's the same thing when it comes to spirit. Yes, I'm respecting all the things that you've been through. I'm respecting all the emotion that you've been through. But in order to get to a higher state of mind, we need to break through that, okay? So that's pretty much what that aspect is about. Now, Venus opposing Uranus, okay? So after with breakthrough, now let's talk about Venus. Venus has to do with the love. Venus has to do with creative expression. Venus has to do with even as far as relationships, right? And relationships don't necessarily have to just be a partnership between you and a love, like a, you know, a significant other. But it can also have to do with relationships even as far as your family, since second house is supporting, you know, that's a supportive house of the first house, and that has to do with the a little bit of the family life and everything of growing up, that family life, right? Yes, fourth house covers majority of that as well, but that really taps into like family assets and what you've collected as a family, and the worth that you gain from growing up within that family, okay? So Venus opposing Uranus would basically say breakthrough in love, fresh ideas. Any boring relationships during this time are not going to make it, okay? This is a major thing to understand. If you're in a relationship where there is a lot of codependency, a lot of dependence on the other person to get you somewhere, or there's someone that doesn't have their own hobbies, or somebody that doesn't really allow themselves to push their creativity without the other person being present, this is a time that this could break that situation up. Because right now, with having Venus opposing Uranus, it's causing you to look at the fact of your own independence, okay? Because Uranus has to do with that independence. It has to do with being okay with starting something new, but doing it without having to have a clique around you. It's being able to step into that solitude and really kind of create. It's almost like saying, okay, I'm going to step into the solitude and I'm going to challenge myself, right? Because it's opposing. So it's forcing you to really be able to look at yourself in the mirror and see and create that balance, right? But you can't necessarily create that balance with someone else if you can't create that with yourself. It all comes down to self-worth, okay? Venus has a lot to do with self-worth because it's in the second house. Second house is worth, okay? So because of that, if that codependency becomes the issue, and that codependency is now like out in the open, right? It's out in the open, especially because the sun is shining on Venus. It's not going to make it during this time. This is a time period that people that, you know, are going through that issue the other person is kind of like, it's time to be out on your own. It's time to do the things that you need to do to get where you have to go. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, understand, when you love someone, freedom is the choice. Freedom is a beautiful thing. I'm not talking about freedom as far as, you know, letting the person free and you doing whatever. And I'm not saying as far as that. But in order to truly be able to love another person, in order for love to be present, there has to be freedom of creativity, freedom of the mind, freedom of exploration when it comes to really channeling that self-worth and creativity, okay? That's what I mean by that. Now, I also took some notes as far as saying that some may consider polygamy during this time. It's so weird because I've noticed, especially, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was on, you know, the dating websites for a little bit, and I noticed, like, during the year that, like, there were a lot of people on, like, Bumble and Tinder. I mean, I was barely on Tinder, but, like, you know, Bumble and Hinge that, like, totally was like, oh, I'm non-monogamous or something like that. And I was just like, wow, I didn't really realize how many people were doing this lately, like, where they were really just, you know, committing to multiple people, and that was like a thing for them. Well, this is a time that that could be something that, you know, couples decide to do, because it's that opposing energy. You start seeing that, you know, love might formulate in multiple ways. I don't say that for everybody. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. With Sun being in Scorpio, that's going to bring up a lot of jealousy issues. But some people might be okay with that, you know? Some people might be honest, especially since Venus is in Scorpio, and we'll get into that in a second. But especially since that's the case, people are starting to come out with the truth when it comes to love. So this is the time with it opposing Uranus that people might actually be interested in polygamy, and they might start talking about it with their partners, and, you know, that might be the big bang that comes out of that, this situation with the moon, because basically Uranus is that thing. It's that breakthrough. So anything opposing it, anything working with it, it's going to pretty much cause new development in that area, okay? So yeah, so this is when relationships are going to start developing fresh ideas. That's relationships with partnerships, family, okay? Significant others. There's going to be some new ideas coming in. I talked about the questions on independence with the codependency. Uranus is quick energy. Okay, so this is also important to know too. Uranus is very quick, fast-paced energy, okay? Think of technology. Now, yes, many people would say, well, from A to B would be Mercury, and that's very true. But the difference here is that Uranus is advanced technology, okay? It's advanced. It's on some stuff that, like, Japan's on, okay? Uranus sees far out into the future. Far, far, far out. It's ahead of things. I literally just had a reading tonight with an Aquarius, which Uranus rules Aquarius, okay? That's the governing planet for the sign. And she literally said to me, she says, I feel like my ideas are just so far out there that, like, many people won't understand them. And it's so funny because I've said this in the Aquarius video, that that's exactly how Aquarius think. Aquarius have such large ideas, and they find the people in the crowd that understand what they're trying to state and can kind of get everything that they're saying. And then once they find those people, those eccentric people, then they then decide to continue conversation with them and really put minds together, right? So because of that, it's also really quick. So, that being said, if you are single during this time and you meet somebody and everything just seems so lovely and good, and you guys are both feeling that deep connection and everything else, take your time. Number one, Venus is in retrograde. It's never good to start a new relationship during this time because you're in the process of reflecting on your relationships that were previous before this time period, okay? It's not good to start things. I mean, if you do find situations and you meet somebody, take your time with them. It's basically saying that that person might not be viewed in the same light when Venus goes direct on November 16th, okay? Things might change. So basically, take your time, because Uranus, because it's that breakthrough energy and that quick energy to get to the next level, and it's also a very spontaneous energy, okay? So because of that, right? Because it also, like, think about the regular zodiac. It trines with Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is that wildfire, okay? It's the same concept. Aquarius is like, I want new things. I want to taste new things. I want to enjoy new things. I want to see new ideas, okay? Everything is new ideas. An idea, I always tell people this, being that Aquarius is big on ideas, I always tell people that a person that you meet is an idea in a human body. That is what it is, right? Because you're attracting that idea. This person comes into your life for a reason, because it's an idea that was attracted by your mind. So keep in mind, new ideas can be new people. So have fun. By all means, have fun. Don't listen to me. If you want to go out and do your thing, do your thing. But just keep in mind that it's quick. So if you're looking for something that's more potent, or something that is gonna be more meaningful, I would probably hold out on starting something right now and kind of just take my time with what you have in front of you. Or if something comes new, like I said, just take your time, okay? And so that's there. Yeah, so it can also cause some impulsive sparks, right? So that doesn't always have to just mean with just in love or in romance. It could also mean with creativity. So that can be very good, or that could be very bad. Give you 2 examples. If you have a project that's due, or you're in the process of putting something together for a creative field of yours, it's awesome because it'll spark that creativity, okay? It'll spark it enough where it's like, all right, I could really develop this project in the best way that I know how, okay? So that's a positive thing. But it can also cause you to do things because, again, remember, Venus has to do with contracts because it also rules Libra. So you have to be careful with this because this can make you impulsively sign a contract or make a choice that has to do with beauty, okay? So this could be getting your hair cut or getting, you know, false lashes. I mean, I wouldn't say false lashes, but something that's permanent you could do, and then it's like such a quick decision and you don't even realize that at the end of the day it probably wasn't best. But you know what? I am also going to use false lashes for an example as well. Perhaps you have money that's due somewhere else, but you want something so bad, some kind of cosmetic, or you want to get, even like Venus has to do with cars as well in some ways, like nice cars and luxury and everything like that, right? So that also has to do with as well. If you go ahead and purchase something on the whim because it's just that breakthrough to get something that you really want, you're not thinking of the other worth that's really important as well, which is getting things done on a need, okay? Because again, Venus is still talking about value. Value can be monetary value or self-worth, okay? It could be cosmetics, or it could be material value or things that you need because it rules the 2nd house, which talks about assets, things to collect for the home to support the 1st house, which is the body. So make sure you are careful with how much money that you spend right now, because right now Uranus is going to cause that breakthrough energy. Okay? So that's that. It did also, oh, this is this one. Okay, so speaking of that, I wanted to talk to you guys about this fact as well. And I wrote this as in more of the aspects too, but I'm going to take a short little break to talk about the crystal that I'm wearing. Okay, I'm wearing what's called labradorite. Alright, I also have a crystal that's called citron, okay? So, or cintrine, depending on how you pronounce it. Now, this is awesome to know. Labradorite is actually a beautiful crystal to wear. A lot of healers will wear this crystal, or people that are intuitive or clairvoyant, because it really opens up the other side and connects with the spiritual realm in a really positive way. Now, I've explained this in previous videos about the Magician card in tarot, which the Magician card is very big on, I was looking around me to see if I have my cards nearby. Oh, I do. Okay, great. I want to show you guys this because I feel like it would definitely help you guys. And sorry for all the breaks, but like I do mine live because I want a natural feeling to come out. So yeah. So thanks for bearing with me. Okay. So let's find the Magician card. Now here we go. Awesome. This is what the Magician card looks like, okay? Now, understand that this guy right here has all the elements. He has the cups, which stands for the water element, the pentacles, that stands for the earth, swords, that stands for air, and the wands, that stands for fire. So he has all the ability to manifest anything he needs on an infinite level, and he is able to do that by bringing in that power from the spiritual realm pointing up and being able to bring it into the material, that was funny, the material realm going down, okay, into this world. Basically, that's what he's doing. Alright, sorry, here we go. Alright, so basically, that's basically what this stone does. The stone has the ability, once you wear it, you can charge it. Once you charge it, you can wear this and it really stimulates that creative flow and that creative energy and the ability to manifest things that we want, right? To connect with the other side. It also helps with calming your temper, so you can kind of balance things out. So it's similar to that energy of Libra, where you kind of are able to see both sides in a situation and stand in a more peaceful state of mind. Not as passive as a Libra, but more so seeing things in a, you kind of reflect on a quicker level, but in present mode, so that way you can make positive decisions. And it's really good for people that have positions in customer service, because it's good for somebody that, like, you know, works with other people, that they have to make decisions for other people, or work with different personalities, or, you know, and when I say different personalities, think of like bartending, or hair salon, or a car salesman. There we go. Those people that really work with different personalities and different energies, right? Because you never know who's really going to come in the door and what kind of personality they have. All right, so this is a really good stone for that. And the reason why I talked about the other stone, which is citrin, I can't say this freaking word sometimes, or citrine, depending on how you pronounce it. This is a stone of abundance. So this stone actually brings good money. This also advertises and promotes, it also promotes value. So imagine putting these two stones together. You're able to utilize this magical energy to bring in this money and abundance. But be careful, because with this stone, if you're somebody that is a little high strung, I wouldn't suggest for you to wear that, because abundance comes in all forms, right? It could be positive or negative. So I would stay away from that if you are somebody a little bit high strung, or somebody that, you know, has a lot of stamina already. That's somebody that I would suggest this for someone who is trying to access their willpower and get a little bit more stamina in their system and be able to kind of pull in that value that they're really looking for. All right, but other than that stone, you could definitely go for the labradorite, and that's definitely going to help you guys when it comes to a creative flow. It really helps you tap into the other side. Okay, so just wanted to take a quick break for you guys to understand that, because that really would help in this full moon. So yeah, so now we have, and I believe, yes, so Venus sits with the sun, and it's a tight conjunction, okay? It's only 3 degrees away, and it's causing matters of the heart and value and relationship to shed light on it, okay? Because anything that the sun is close to, it's going to shine light on it, shine light on that area. All right, so now with Venus being in retrograde, okay, and Venus is in Scorpio. Venus being in Scorpio in retrograde is already opening up all of the doors. Anything that's hidden is coming out to light. So imagine having the sun so close to Venus being in retrograde in Scorpio. Now the light is really coming and hitting hard, right? So right now, it's nothing but reflection, reflection, create, reflection, reflection, create, reflection, 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 reflection. Take everything that you've reflected on and create something magical from it. Create something magical, but also advance, right? Because it's that energy of Uranus that's opposing Venus. So advance with it. Allow it to break through. Allow whatever that you're reflecting on to take its course. A lot of times we have lack of patience with this. We're like, oh my God, there's just so much energy going on. I don't really know what to do. Blah, 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 blah. Allow it to take its course. I do have something positive to say, though. One of the positive aspects of this that will definitely help is the fact that Venus is sextile to Saturn. Okay? Anytime the planets have sex, it's awesome, because that's basically saying that they're working together to kind of mingle and create something, right? So Venus being sextile to Saturn will, and Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn, it's actually causing that some groundedness, some maturity, okay, in this, because that Capricorn Saturn energy is pretty much trying to already naturally advance, right? Think of your Capricorn friends. Capricorn friends are always trying to climb the ladder, right? Always trying to get to the next level. And ultimately, with having Venus being present in the situation, it's really saying, how can we take the value of what you already came from, right? Your family assets, the thing that you already built for yourself. How could we take that value and now add it to my value? And together, we're able to advance to a higher level, right? That's basically what that energy of Saturn is saying. It's working together with the energy to make it work well for advancement. That's basically what this moon is about. It's about advancement, but it's about advancement with your possessions, your relationships. If you have something going on in court, it's going to help you with that situation. Marriages, partnerships with business, anything with that, that's what this moon is about. It is about producing advancement in those ways, okay? It's going to also cause questions, right? Because especially if your emotions are stemming towards like, I have this relationship and it's not moving forward. Why is it not moving forward? With Venus being sextile to Saturn, it is going to cause those questions to come out, especially with Uranus being present in the situation, right? So it's going to cause you to start asking questions and asking your boyfriend or girlfriend, all right, what are we doing? Are we getting married? Are we moving in together? Are we if you get married or whatever the case, if you're married, if you're not married, whatever, like, are we having a child? What are we doing together? Are we starting a business together? Things like that. It wants to get to the next level. Saturn wants us to go through maturity, especially those that are going through their Saturn return right now. It's a major thing, especially if that Saturn return is even on your degree. If it's on your exact degree, you're really feeling this right now because it's really starting to ask you those questions of what is going to take you to the next tier in your life right now, take you to the next level of the ladder. What's going to get you there? And that might be uncomfortable energy because of the fact that Uranus is pushing through. It's like, listen, I don't have time for details, right? That's Virgo. I ain't got time for that. I see the bigger picture. And I want things to get done so everybody's happy, everything's going well. Now, if that means I got to step on somebody's foot because somebody's over here being codependent, or someone is not allowing themselves to see their own self-worth, or they're not taking a picture on my self-worth, or I'm not happy in my career, right? Because second house is also career. Let's talk about that for a second. I can't tell you how many people right now that I have seen statuses, and I commend those people so much. I really, really do. The people that have been taking the steps of saying, you know what, I need to spend more time for myself. I have business ideas and I want to actually execute these ideas. I'm tired of working all these hours and they're not doing anything but enslaving me into a mindset that I know I'm better than. I have been seeing so many statuses. I've been seeing so many people talking. Like, I've overheard conversations of people discussing, I'm worth more than this. I'm getting paid for this job. I'm getting up in the morning. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I get home by 9 o'clock. I spent my entire day working. I didn't even eat. I went ahead and ate out. Didn't even spend time with my family, right? Didn't even spend time with myself. I lost all of my passion because I'm working for someone else's passion, right? Someone else's vision. I've been seeing a ton of people saying, I am worth more. People have been asking for raises. People have been giving up jobs that you would think are their dream jobs. People have been literally saying, you know what? I'm just going to take the damn leap. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to take the leap because I believe in myself. This is that time. This is that time. Because it's that Uranus, that Uranian energy that is producing the results of breakthrough. And is the maturity from Saturn asking you, how are you going to get to the next level? Is it from working for someone else? Or is it for believing in yourself enough to work for yourself? And that doesn't mean that every single person wants to work for themselves, because some people actually enjoy literally working for what they work, doing the work that they get, and they go home and they have their hobbies. And that's okay. Everyone has their own system. But to have a time to focus on self-worth and to absolutely hate your job, it is so important to understand you do not hate Mondays. You hate your job. And in order to be able to bring in the true worth that you are worth, that true worth, you need to give yourself that belief in your heart that you can obtain that, okay? Labradorite, get it. I'm going to start wrapping crystals soon, so I hope, like, that's something that you guys would love. Like, and comment below with that, like, please. But, like, I'm going to be selling these. I'm going to be giving these out. Even gifts, you know? Giveaways. Because the energy of labradorite is going to make you realize that you have that ability, right? It's gonna calm your soul, and it's gonna give you clarity and say, this is the things that I need to get done. I can't even tell you. It's around 5:30. My clock's fast, but it's around 5:30 right now. Probably gonna sleep for about 4 hours, maybe 5, and then I'm gonna get up, and I have things that I have to do that I'm so excited to do. I've been thinking about them all day. I'm so excited. Because this moon is it's just giving me all the creative juices in the world, that it's really helping me, like, say, I got this. And I've been wearing this stone today, and I wear labradorite occasionally, I do, but there's just something about this moon with this stone that's really, like, making me, like, wow, like, I've got some stuff going on. I'm good. You know, I had, I've had quite a few tarot readings back to back in the last couple of days that I'm like, oh, okay, like, my business is pumping, things are going well, like, this is how I can help myself. I can print out these, I can print out that, I can do this. I have gift certificates that are coming out, all because somebody that bought a reading for me for a friend was like, hey, do you have gift certificates that I can give him? So it's like, you know, it's more exciting. The reading is more exciting. It feels like it's not just, like, you know, something that's just a girl who's a tarot reader. Like, it's starting to become a business. It's starting to manifest into a business. And that's basically what I'm telling you, is, like, it's that energy, that self-worth. Once you start seeing it, you're like, okay. Now, I still work a job that, like, you know, I'm working for somebody else in certain ways, but at the same time, I'm doing what I love to do. And I'm going to build a lot of my own self-worth, and a lot of, from basically learning from them, people that have businesses. I'm going to learn from them. I am in training for my own businesses, okay? That's basically what I mean by that, is the fact of this full moon is going to start channeling, as in, what makes me worth it? What shows that I'm worth it? What do I have? Possessions, right? Possessions from both Taurus, from both Scorpio. What do I have? What resources do I have, material, like in the material world? And what resources can I request from the spiritual realm that I don't necessarily have, but I have the belief that I can retrieve them? Okay, that's basically what this moon is saying in the opposing factors. Now there's 2 more. Oh no, I covered the Venus in sextile with, Venus is sextile with Saturn. Okay, there is one more aspect, and that is the moon opposing Venus. Okay? Now this one's a little bit interesting, because I need you guys to understand how important it is to know that this is okay. With the moon opposing Venus, this is causing some confliction with emotions versus love. So those of you that are single, okay, good morning. For those of you that are single, you're going to feel like you really want somebody in your life right now. You're going to start asking yourself, like, why hasn't relationships worked for me, okay? Again, one of the readings that I did was, I'm really, really busy when it comes to making money and blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I have time for this relationship. And it's just like, what is worth your time? Money. That's a value, right? Relationships is a value, but that's more of a spiritual connection, right? What's worth your time? How can you put energy into both and not forget about the other, right? How are you going to balance that out? Because understand that if you put all of your energy into one gear and not the other one, there's going to be some resentment with one of them, okay? But to have moon opposing the Venus energy, Venus is in Scorpio. Venus is over here destructing everything right now, pulling out everybody's secrets, okay? Everybody is just like, ugh, I thought we were good, right? You talk to your relationship partner, you talk to your business partner. I thought everything was straight. No. It is time to hash out the issues that we are hiding. It is time to hash out the things that need to be approached, confronted, right? But once you do that, it might make you feel lonely, because now that comfort, right, that comfort of that safety net, that safety comforter, it's gone. I don't mean to get naked for you guys, but it's gone. Okay? So with it being gone, now it's back on because I'm trying not to be naked over camera at 5 o'clock in the morning, or 6 now. With it being gone, what it's basically trying to say is that you need to look into who you are before you can really take the next step in being right for somebody else. And I've said this a million times. Okay? I've said it a million times. You need to be able to take care of self before you are able to add self to another self, to be two, to create with three. It is very important. You're going to feel all kinds of feels because you have this opposing energy, right? All kinds of feels. You're going to want someone to be there. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you got to take a rest for a little bit. Get yourself right. Get your mind right. Once you get your mind right, you take the time to meditate and to really see the things that you want, then execute them. That's what the full moon is trying to say. It's the opposing energy of emotion versus ego. It's not saying don't do either. It's saying, or do one or the other. It's saying balance. Balance, my loves. Balance. Once you figure out what you really want, then you can execute it. Then you can shine lights on who you really feel like you are, right? Because you've actually conjured up those feelings. And once you are able to do that is when you could really excel. And that's ultimately when you could really move forward. And that's basically all of the energy that's going on, especially with Venus being in retrograde. Again, take your time, meditate a little bit. Let things kind of soak in first, all right? Another thing is you can feel like love is against you. You could feel like your own self is against you because it's like a mirror. Think of the moon, right? The moon controls the main element of water. The tides move with the moon. When you shine light on water, what happens? There's a reflection. The reflection is a mirrored image of yourself. So, think about it this way. With that reflection being there, and it's opposing Venus, and then Venus is also in a reflection mode from being in retrograde. Basically, it's saying it's time to reflect on all angles. It's time to reflect. And you need to take that time so you can reflect on everything that matters. Career, self-love, relationships, monetary value, yes, with things that you need, spiritual value, with things that you need, balance between the two of them, right? Collector's items, advancing to the next level, and breaking codependency habits. This is the main theme of this moon. And ultimately, if you are able to take all these energies and utilize them, then you could truly enjoy the exalted stardust, okay? The exaltation of Taurus, with it being moon in Taurus, okay? So I think we've covered everything. That was really, really quick, which was interesting, okay? I didn't tell you guys yet. So Taurus, the full moon, and the sun are 1 degree and 13 minutes, okay? Both Taurus and Scorpio. And oh, one more last thing before I go. I want to tell you guys, two more things, right? I wrote this for the moon trine to Saturn. I don't know if I said that one. Let's talk about that real quick. Moon trine to Saturn also supports the same concept of Venus being sextile with Saturn, but it's talking about the emotions rather than just looking at the self-worth of things, right? So Moon trine to Saturn at 4 degrees and 22 minutes of Capricorn. And it's bringing maturity from this breakthrough, which was said before. Uranus and Saturn are working together to support a release and advancement in emotional development. Okay, patience. Saturn is offering patience. This is great. We need this, especially during all this destruction that Venus is causing. We need this, okay? We are almost in Venus in Libra. We're almost there. And ultimately, that's going to get to where, like, things start, now that everything's destructed, now that Venus has made a mess, now it's time to formulate the balance again, right? Because it's going back into Libra. And Venus loves being in Libra because that's one of its home signs, okay? So that being said, the only other thing was the fact of food intake. Very important to understand. Food is not just eating food, like material food, like actually, like, you know, I don't know, like broccoli. Some people eat meat, some people eat fish, some people eat tofu, whatever the case may be. It's not just that. It's also the energies that you exchange yourself with. So it's very important to understand that, especially during such an intense situation right now with Venus being in Scorpio and it being in retrograde. A lot of us are sleeping with our exes, and our exes are like loving every moment of it, but then like they're really not taking things seriously. Hint, hint. Venus with Uranus, right? Yeah, Venus opposing Uranus. It's quick energy, quick decisions, right? A lot of us are doing that. A lot of us are even like out there sleeping with new people. Understand, who you mix your energies with is exactly the energy that you are digesting. Very important to understand. Be spontaneous. Go ahead, do what you got to do. But understand that every vagina and every penis that you mess with is offering some kind of energy or receiving some kind of energy. Let's be real. Be careful. Value yourself. That is what the moon is saying. Value yourself. Have fun, but value yourself. Make sure that these people care about you. Make sure it is not just a quick thing because it's going to hurt. And I don't care how much y'all want to act like ego, it's going to hurt. Because at the end of the day, this is a time to look at self-value. So if you're sleeping with somebody that does not care, you're going to feel it. So make sure that you're taking that into consideration. Okay? Other than that, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, y'all. And we talked all about the moon. Everything is wonderful. I think I've covered everything. I have 2 videos coming up that I want to talk to you guys about within the next 30 seconds. I'm going to be doing a video that has to do with self-love because of the theme. This is not going to be your average video. This is not going to be a video that just talks about like, oh, this is what you should do with self-love. This is the real nitty-gritty of how important self-love really is, because the video is actually going to be called Self-Worth, Self-Love, or Disease. Pick one. It's straight out to the point because it needs to be understood the difference between the two and how there is never anything in the middle. It's literally self-love with self-worth or disease. You pick one or the other. I will talk about that, okay? I have not forgotten about the clear quartz video. I want to apologize because I literally have a full schedule now, complete full schedule. I'm trying to do all the things. But I will get that out to you guys because I also want to make a more detailed video about labradorite as well, since it does correlate with this video too, okay? So look out for those 2 videos. I will definitely get those to you. Happy Halloween, okay? I probably will see you before that, but for those of you that are going to be going out this weekend, I hope that you guys have a blast. And be careful because there might be a nor'easter, so be careful with that. But other than that, comment below when you guys watch this. Let me know what you think. Let me know your comments, concerns, any questions. And I will try to answer them in the follow-up video that has to do with the self-love, okay? So me and Skylar are going to finally go to sleep. I'm going to finally take this blue lipstick off my face, which was dope early, but like now it's like 6 in the morning and like we tired, okay? All right, so guys, thanks for watching, and be beautiful, and make sure you join Open Your Mind. I'm changing the title. It's going to be called Serenity Haven. Open your mind and open your mind to spiritual healing. That's the new title of that. And also, please support by going to my makeup and hair page, and that's under Suki makeup, hair, art, or something like that. Okay, that's also on my page as well. And join me on Instagram for more posts at siren.selenophil, which is spelled SIREN period SELENOPHILE. Okay, and that's my other page. And oh yeah, Glam N Guts. So GLAM, the letter N, GUTZ is my makeup and hair page as far as what's on Instagram too. All right. So if you guys have any questions about pricing and everything like that when it comes to the tarot readings or astrology readings, I'm going to start doing Christmas specials soon. So that should be really awesome. And I have gift certificates now, so I'm super excited. All right, anyway, I gotta go. I gotta go to sleep. Okay. Bye. Spirit fingers.